Welcome aboard this Great Western Railway service to London Paddington. If you become aware of any suspicious items or people acting suspiciously, please tell a member of staff or a police officer. In the interests of safety and security, this train is fitted with CCTV. This is a security message. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it. The next station is...
We're travelling backwards. Definitely not forwards, because if we were travelling forwards, then we would be getting somewhere. I'm sat on the train across from this man, and he begins to talk to me. As ignorance it may be masked, it may be allowed, it may be ignored, and it may even occasionally be encouraged. My train friend looks however you imagine him to look. How he appears is never really relevant, but you must imagine him. All that's important to this is that he's painfully ignorant. 2-for-1 deal on all kinds of box fresh, discounted thick. This man sitting opposite me begins to debate with me, loudly in the carriage. Except it's not a debate. It's not really a debate, because I'm not really talking. He says exactly what he thinks of me. Makes it clear. It's 10:11 p.m. At this point in my life, I was a bit younger, and I looked it. Visibly queer is what anyone would have said. Now you're gonna love this. This is what he said next. Everyone's allowed their own opinion. That's a quote that I would like to talk to you about. You remember that, right? That quote from, literature, probably. I've forgotten now. Everyone's allowed their own opinion. That's good, isn't it? It's brilliant. That's the main argument point that occurs when a trans person wants to exist without harm. I wonder why. Quote should be quick, with wit and power. They need to mean something.
So it doesn't really work as a quote at all, does it? I mean, most really good quotes are in bold and have a drawing of a tree next to them. Or a dove.
But we won't scrap it. It is a fact. It's a fact more than anything. An obvious fact, so why bring it up? I originally thought it was definitely a quote because people kept repeating it to me, so I thought,
must be a quote.
It must be a quote from somewhere, at least. Free speech, too. That's another good one. Yeah, it's perfect. 10s across the board. That too is a good response. Quick, agile, free speech. No one's arguing with that one. Sums up right, good, except and not proper. Really. On the train, I admit, we sounded like we were brainstorming ideas and sentence starters for stupid people to use in arguments, and he was doing most of the heavy lifting. He still preferred that other one, though. Everyone's allowed their own opinion, because it's so persistently meaningful. Okay, it's good, it works. We've established that it works, but define meaningful. It's got a meaning because it's a correct sentence, and it makes sense. It's true because it's a fact, but I don't see how it's full. He thinks it's genius. I think he's a fool. I've only been sitting with this man for 34 minutes, but he's already grabbed the wrong end of enough sticks to grope the entire wrong end of a forest. But I say none of this because I'm 16 at the time, and it's 10:45. The English language is spoken by roughly 1.35 billion people. It's the language of 67 countries, and there are lots of thoughts on how we came to speak it. One being that language originated from the Bow Wow theory. Language seemingly began as an unconscious vocal imitation of action. English has been spoken since the 5th century. 171,146 words used today, and then 47,000 obsolete words that we just don't seem to use anymore. The possibilities of language are endless. Virtually infinite combinations. Language is the most beautiful thing that I have ever heard. Somehow just not when he does it. These people will build up extremely complex sentences and then they say nothing. Nothing's really said. It's more sounds than comprehensive language. Metaphorically, they're drawing scribbles in the margins and then accidentally breaking a biro all over it. You think 171,000 words would be just enough. those sayings, expressions, quotes. People aren't saying these things to mean something or to have an actual conversation with you. They're saying it to block or to reverse a question. The last time that I told someone what was happening to my trans friends, the pools of hate that spilled from people's lips, half of those words weren't even in the first 171. Ignorance is hard to ignore. It's in your face. Shouting and swearing, and you'll see it in your papers. Punctuating the press and dividing the news. My existence and so many others has been put down to a debate. For people to discuss openly with their 12 forks and a corked wine with a stupid name. It's not a debate when you're talking about whether people should be treated as people. Obviously they should, but obviously they're not, because if they were, then we would be getting somewhere. Realistically, you could submerge yourself in your own vile opinions and no one could do anything about it, and that's why those phrases waste time. That's exactly what they're there for, because they don't expect you to argue back, because no one, not even me, would argue with free speech, so they've won, haven't they? Ignorance is victory. You've been stumped. You could ignore it completely, if you can. Well, what about free speech? What about... No, actually, I think I'll be fine. Everyone's allowed their own opinion. I'm okay. It's 11:24 p.m. I'd like to have gone home. Finally, I smile at him. Clearly the kind of smile that uneases him. My happiness, my friends, my love, and my life is confusing to him. I smile and I tell him about my friends and my family and everything I love and everything I enjoy. And he stutters and mumbles, well, what about free speech? And I was waiting for this, and after this we probably should have started going backwards again, but I think we've gone far enough for one metaphorical train. I tell him about my passions, the things I enjoy. My life. That's less than a debate. And I ignore him. And I can assure you, when people say, what about free speech, they just mean shouting some senseless slurring in the direction of someone they don't respect. So, ignore it. It's only polite I inform you that we're really going now. Fast and forward out of another station. And even better, he leaves. He stands up and he goes off to another compartment or off at this stop. And then we're getting somewhere. This is backwards facing, take 10. This should be the good one, because it's the number 10. It's a good number. We'll find out. It might not be. It might be rubbish. I'll probably include this at the end if this is the good one.